And welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Jeremy Baker and Scott Kirshner. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. The website, arhq.com. There's a new survey by Schroders that says the average working American thinks they're going to need $1.1 million to retire. So I have to wonder, do you guys get calls from people who tell you how much they've saved for retirement and follow that up with the question, is that enough? If so, how do you answer that question? And what does it take to actually find out what their quote-unquote retirement number is?
That's probably one of the biggest questions we get from folks that come in and talk to us is, am I doing enough? Is what I'm doing enough? Is it going to be enough for me to retire comfortably? And, every situation's different. You just can't throw a number out there and, 1.1 million. We just talked about Dwayne, who had $500,000, and he, that for him seemed to be his number. But there are ways to figure out what your number is as an individual. What I like to use is Morningstar. They had a report in 2013, and it's still pretty relevant today. And they have what's called a safe withdrawal rate. And you can look at anything from, say, 15 to 40 years. Somebody that's 60 years old, we definitely don't want to plan for 25 years, and then you look across the table and now they're 86 and they're out of money because you only plan for them to be 85. So Morningstar also has anywhere from 50 to 99% confidence on that safe withdrawal rate. Again, I'd prefer to be 99% confident rather than leave it up to a coin flip where it's, 50-50, maybe I'm going to not run out of money.
Sure.
So I would say kind of a safe withdrawal rate would be somewhere between maybe 3 and 6%, considering all those factors. And in fact, that Morningstar study showed that 4% had a 50% confidence of lasting 30 years. So, I would think somewhere less than 4%. So if you look at somebody that has 1.1 million at 4%, that's about $44,000 a year coming off their investments, and they never touched the principal.
It's all about that frugality, being able to live within your means. And it comes down to, what do you have saved? What do you want to achieve in retirement? How much is that going to cost? It comes down to running the numbers. I think it's safe to say, I think Elon Musk just recently became the world's richest person again, $192 billion. He's probably going to be okay. I would say that's well, I say that, but you never know with him.
Okay, so think about it, Chris. With him, his numbers, obviously, like you said, Jeremy, is totally different. Here's a guy that's spending a lot of money too. So is that $1 billion a safe number for him when you're spending, the hundreds of millions of dollars that he spends on all of these goofy things that he's doing, right? So Jeremy, let me ask this question. To me, it has always been a magic number of $1 million, right? And for a lot of our clients, we actually send out gifts when they do hit that $1 million investment, right? It's who doesn't want to say, hey, I've got $1 million.
It's certainly a milestone. What I like to do, if you think about this, and if you're at home or if you're sitting here, you can do the math. It's 2 times 3 times 10 times 7 times 52 times 20. Now what that is 3 people, 3 meals a day, $10 a meal, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 20 years. And that number is almost $500,000, and that's just on food. So that's almost $22,000 a year. And I'm a single guy. I eat out a lot, and $10 isn't going to cover a lot of meals anymore.
No, not with inflation the way it is and the cost of everything going up too. But one of the other things to look at with that number, that's 500,000 just right there with the math that you just did. But look at healthcare and health insurance right now. You're looking at spending over a 20 to 25 year period in retirement. You're looking at spending roughly $315,000 for a couple in retirement. That's right there. You're at $800,000 roughly.
Just for food and healthcare.
Just for food and healthcare. So the magic number, $1 million, 1.1. For some, like the prior segment, 500,000 was working for him at 59, but is it really going to work for him at 59? Because you're retiring at 59, and a lot of it goes into genetics. I mean, if his parents live to the mid to late 80s, he's got a good chance of living to the mid to late 80s. He may live like a pauper and not spend any money, and that's okay, but that may be his number, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it really all depends. If you don't know what your number is, we can obviously help with that. We've got the tools and the resources available. There's a lot of different things you can do. Is take a list and put a list together of all of your income resources. For example, 401ks, IRAs, pensions, savings, Social Security. Take a list and put that together and say, okay, what are all of my resources? Where's my money coming from? And to determine what that magic number is for you, because it is different for everybody. And that number can change as you're moving through retirement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I know some of the things we talk about are the slow go, go, and no go.
Yeah, that's Chaz's big thing, and he says that very well, and he goes through that with everybody.
One of the things I like to do, and I know we're going to talk a little bit about Social Security later, and you mentioned, you do want to have a list of assets, your IRAs, your 401ks, because Social Security is primarily going to be the cornerstone of most people's retirement. And what we like to do is do an optimization report. And it shows you kind of your wealth accumulation and your wealth depletion, because, again, we don't know how long you're going to be around. So we protect you from things like taxes, things like inflation, and then consider longevity as well. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't want to prepare for 86, and then your chances are a married couple, one of them's going to live into their 90s. So we have to definitely look out for that. We have to prepare for the long haul.
Absolutely.
Because that would certainly be an awkward conversation to have at your 87th birthday when you're like, well, you ran out of money last year, so we're not sure what we're going to do here. That is not something that they want to do. That is something that they do not do, because they make these plans to hopefully go the distance. Address that number one concern among retirees and pre-retirees: outliving their money. Finding that magic number. It sounds like a cop-out, but it really is. It depends on person to person. It's going to depend on your situation. So here's the number you should concern yourself with right now: 419-794-3030. That's how you get in touch with the team at America's Retirement Headquarters. Start putting pen to paper and figuring out what the number is going to be for you. 419-794-3030. Or if you prefer, you can just go to the website as well, arhq.com.